self-protection, self-preservation. The foundation of all of this self-defense and self-protection piece for me comes down to like that situational awareness, being aware of your surroundings. And it's something that's not often taught in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or in martial arts in general. So I've got 20 years in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. I've also got 20 years working in the security industry. So a lot of what I do, particularly with regards to self-protection, self-preservation, whatever the wording you want to use, self-defense if you want to, has a blend of what I've used in martial arts training, what I've used in security, and you know, I don't always agree with classic self-defense techniques. It's not right or wrong, anything can be made to work, but the reality is in 20 years of sort of applied stuff through security, I find there are certain key principles that work across the board, whether it's myself, whether it's hundreds of security guards that I've trained, because I do a lot of training for our security team there as well, or friends and other students who've done jiu-jitsu for recreation, for hobbies, for sports, have to do with fighting the cage, do all sorts of different things depending on whatever someone wants to do for jiu-jitsu. But when it comes to self-protection, the very, very foundational piece you want to have is your situational awareness. And it's such an important piece of the game that just, I don't know why, for whatever reason, doesn't really get spoken about. I liken situational awareness to, it's the foundation of everything. If I'm unaware of my surroundings, what chance do I have of being able to protect myself? What chance do I have of being able to see something and avoid it? Or see something in the middle of it and try and de-escalate it? Or, you know, or even be able to potentially defend myself. In boxing and martial arts, they often say, you know, the punch that you don't see coming is the one that knocks you out. If I find myself in the thick of a conflict or a self-defense situation, well, I have to utilise whatever I've got to defend myself. But I liken self-awareness to time. Situational awareness to time. So the more awareness I have, the more information I take in, it buys me time, so it gives me time to start to think and form a plan to respond. If I see something early, well, I can sort of see it, start to read it, start to create a plan and go, okay, this is how I'm going to deal with it. Think of if someone threw a punch at you and you see the punch here, you're really going to try and move or absorb it or whatever, like you don't have time to react, like you're probably going to get hit. Versus you sort of see them cocking, versus you see them shifting the weight. And the earlier you see the better you're going to be able to prepare yourself and deal with it. And situational awareness doesn't have to be anything tricky. It's not some fancy mystical ninja skill or Jason Bourne spy sort of thing. I just think of it like you're driving. You all drive. When you get in a car and you are driving a 1-ton killing machine, you're aware of your surroundings. You notice, hey, I'm driving, I notice if there's a driver up in front, you're sort of swerving in lanes, I notice if I'm going through a school zone, there's kids, there's whatever else, you notice if people open the door. I'm just taking in information. That's all it is. And if you're in circumstances where you may need to protect yourself, you want to make sure that your situation awareness is heightened. So I use a simple system with Cooper's color codes. It's an old military strategist who uses it as far as talking about awareness for people in the military and police with regards to having to carry firearms. So he thinks of code white as being relaxed and completely unaware. So think if you're in the middle of your house, you get up in the middle of the night, so stumble to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, walk back. Like you're not really paying attention to your surroundings. It's just so routine. It's just normal. It's nothing bad. But you're oblivious. You don't know what's going on around you. You're not really paying attention. These things cause us to be in code white. These things are going to be the death of people. Mobile phones. You see someone walking down the street like this, not seeing anything, not taking in any information, just looking down at their phone. You watch someone go basically across the road, almost get hit by a car, and go, oh shit, when they see a car in front of them. Instead of seeing the car and not walking in front of it, or seeing it and then moving, they sort of freeze, because as they look up from that, they haven't taken in that information, been able to process it, and react to it. So they're unaware. So like anything that comes into their field of vision, too much new stimulus is introduced, and they freeze, it's like they're overwhelmed. Yellow is a sense of awareness where I'm relaxed, but I'm aware. I liken it to driving. When I'm driving, you're not freaking out or paranoid unless you're just learning to drive and then everything is complex because you're just taking in so much information. But all of you, when you spend a bit of time driving, you can do it, hold a conversation, listen to music, do whatever, and it's not a big deal. But I am taking my surroundings. I don't have headphones in, it's like, oh, I can't be bothered and looking up the ceiling. Like, obviously I'm paying attention. And anything in public places, particularly where there's alcohol and drugs involved, or as it gets later in places where you tend to isolate yourself a little bit, or in crowds that you think have the potential for volatile situations, you kind of want to make a concerted effort to be in yellow. It's not a hard thing, like I said, it's not tiring like that to do, but you want to make sure that, hey, I'm taking in information. I notice when I'm walking through a shopping centre, say with my wife and my boys, and it's like a dodgy looking dude over here, or something over there that draws my attention. I'm not freaking out, I'm not reacting in a bad way to it, just like I don't react when I see a car going somewhere. I'm just taking that information. I think red flags. 1 or 2 red flags, not necessarily a big deal, but the more you start to see, you go, oh, hang on, there could be something here, and you want to start to prepare yourself to formulate a response. The next one along is orange, which is I've been alerted to a specific threat and I'm preparing to act on it. So maybe I'm walking down the street and I notice some dodgy looking dudes further up ahead up the street, and I go, you know what, my awareness is I can see these guys are a bit dodgy, I'm in yellow, I noticed it, I choose to cross the street. They cross the street. Well, I'm no longer now like, hang on, I'm aware, but I've noticed there's something that's actually flagged my attention here. Nothing's happened, I'm not necessarily engaged with them, but it's like, ooh, I noticed this was a red flag, I go to cross to try and avoid, they go to cross, well now, orange. I'm starting to go, okay, I've seen this, I've recognised as a potential threat, I'm going to start to form a plan and go, okay, what do I need to do to deal with this? And then red is the act of literally formulating a response. Like I'm there, I'm creating a response. Something's happened, I'm doing this. So white, yellow, orange, red. Just a really, really simple way of thinking. Like I said, we won't want to be in white unless you're at home and relaxed and wherever else. If you're in a place where there's potential for violence or anything, you still want to be yellow. And you know, there'll be times where you don't have to be, maybe in a big crowd of friends or whatever else, in a jiu-jitsu room, you probably don't need to be in yellow because you're probably safe with everyone in a room. Not the place that someone's going to walk in and try and fight people very likely, but you know, it happens. Back in the dojo storm days and all those sort of things you get into. So that situational awareness is the key piece. The next thing on that is being mindful of our response, our physiological response under stress. So adrenal stress, it's well and good for us to be in a nice, well-lit, beautiful room that Shane has here and practice our self-defense techniques, right? You know, he's going to do this punch, he's going to do this grab, he's going to do whatever. But we're all comfortable, we're in an open environment, and you're practicing without that intent. Totally different when you go into the real world and there's this chaos and you've been caught by surprise and you're feeling the effects of adrenaline and stress and all that sort of stuff. And the thing with adrenal stress is it plays a part both on my side and on the side of an attacker. So for yourself, you know, I'm sure you've all had that feeling like you almost think you have to be in a fight, like you're twitching, you're nervous, you've got adrenaline running through your fingers or maybe your legs shaking, your mouth's dry, you're starting to sweat, you feel your heart beating in your chest, all these sort of things of adrenaline. And you don't control adrenaline as far as release. I can't just go, okay, bang, adrenaline on. You don't have that control. It's a physiological response to danger. Your body perceives certain things. It goes, oh shit, dump this into your body. And you've got adrenaline, the stress hormones, and that release into your body to help prepare you for what they call fight or flight. I'm sure you've all heard fight or flight response. Adrenaline's released into your bloodstream. I think of adrenaline like nitrous oxide. Pumps out into your bloodstream, you're stronger, faster, and more athletic than you normally are because it's preparing you to either fight for your life to survive or run to get the hell away. I want to live to fight another day, get home to my family, all that sort of stuff. Something else with the adrenal stress response is cortisol is also released into your system. So for those of you that ever had a cortisone shot for injuries and things, you know, it's a catabolic steroid, meaning it breaks down and reduces inflammation as opposed to anabolic steroids, which make people really huge and whatever else. Cortisone is released in your system too under the adrenal stress response, which actually partially anaesthetises you to pain. So you may not feel things that you would ordinarily feel. You know, you see footage on YouTube of like police hitting guys with batons. It's like, why is the guy not going down? I guarantee when adrenaline wears off, that guy can't walk, can't move, can't step on that leg. You've seen guys in the UFC, you know, who was it? TJ Dillashaw broke his ankle, got up, buckled, fell over, got back up, buckled, fell, didn't even feel his ankles broken. Like, dude, massive adrenaline. Like, he's got the adrenaline, so he feels like he's supercharged. Cortisol is not feeling in his system. Same thing with clips where you see horrific things of, you know, people getting stabbed and they continue to fight, and the person doesn't know the weapon's been in play until after. Like, fuck, I'm bleeding. What's going on here? I didn't even realise it. They might have felt this, but they didn't know that there was a weapon in play. So don't be afraid of the adrenal stress response in yourself. Like, people think, unfortunately people associate like adrenaline and nerves and that with like fear, cowardice, shame, and it has a negative association around it. I want you to think of reframing that. Like, you want to think that if I'm feeling the effects of adrenaline, okay, I'm stronger, faster, and more athletic than I've ever been. So I think of adrenal stress in me, that's nitrous oxide. Good, I'm better than I was before. I also think of the cortisone going through my system as armor. So I'm stronger, faster, more athletic, and I have armor. If I'm aware of this and I take this on board and I know I'm not scared, I'm not whatever, it's not a matter of thinking, oh, I'm scared, I'm thinking, fear will bring that response in you whether you like it or not. And don't associate fear with shame or cowardice. It's a natural response. You're not embarrassed when you're hungry, you're not embarrassed when you're tired, you're not embarrassed if you're happy or sad. It's just another emotion, it's just another piece. So we want to be mindful of that, and then we also want to be mindful that the same effect can be in play in an attacker. So for me, generally speaking, as far as defending myself with jiu-jitsu, love jiu-jitsu, love everything about it, takedowns, guard pass sweeps, chokes, whatever. In self-protection, I'm looking for a strangle. I'm looking to choke someone, because these same things that play in us also play in the bad guys. People say, well, I'll just take it down or I'll put them in an arm lock. I've done security for 20 years. I've seen people being taken out in arm locks and fight when they're in full-blown arm locks and destroy their own shoulders and elbows and wrists and things. I guarantee when they wore off, agony, you can't move that arm. But I've seen well-applied arm locks and people have better than I did. You know, so like I said, love an arm lock from mount. Just don't think that I'll mount a guy, punch him, break his arm, and it's game over. Because he might roll up on top of you and start punching. Like he may not feel that then and there. Whereas if you look for a strangle, you unplug the computer, so to speak. There's no tough guys in a strangle. So I think strangling, it doesn't matter going for what we call chokes in jiu-jitsu is technically a strangle because we don't actually choke. Choke being cutting off air supply to the brain, strangle being blood supply to the brain. You could argue it's similar because oxygen's carried in the blood to the brain, but yeah, we're actually, everything we call triangle choke and rear naked choke and guillotine choke, they're all actually strangles. So I'm thinking that's going to be the focus on what we're doing. If I can, switch off the computer, so to speak. I don't want them to be able to move. Now, one more thing on that adrenal stress response too. Bear in mind that everything I do under stress, and whether it's me really, really nervous and adrenaline or a little bit nervous, but I've been here before, if we're all normal, well-adjusted people, we shouldn't be in fights all the time. So for most of us, that's not normal to have chaos and adrenaline, just be like, yeah, cool, I'm good with it. Like, it's not normal. Like, if you're normal people, maybe it's normal for people in prison or in certain environments, but not for us. So when you know this, you've also got to realize that one other effect that adrenaline has is, and it's a pre-programmed response from our bodies from, caveman days. When all this is going on in your system, blood is drained from non-essential organs and pumped into the muscles to prepare us for what we call fight or flight. Meaning, if you're aware of it, you can see people's face drain. People go sort of like pale coloured. Like, it's one of those things, why? Because facial tissue and having rosy red cheeks isn't important to me to survive, right? You've all heard I've been shit scared or was pissing himself, like people talking about things like that as far as being afraid. If I'm in a position to survive, do you think bowel movement and control of internal organs and all that sort of stuff is important to surviving? No, it's not. So under enough adrenaline and stress, it's possible that someone can piss themselves, shoot themselves. And I'm not talking fighting, I'm just talking, maybe in a fight you're okay, but if someone pulls out a knife, you're like, what you thought was a 10 before is now a 2, and you've just had that second thump, you're like, oh my God, and it has nothing to do with you being scared. It's not like, I was so scared I did this. It's like, hey, it was your body, you had no control over it. Not bad bladders, it's not whatever else, it's an adrenal stress response. Like I said, blood's drained from non-essential organs, shunted to the muscles to prepare you to fight or flight and all that sort of stuff. Something else that happens with it is higher brain function shuts down. So, higher brain function and fine motor skills. So we go sort of reptilian brain. We go away from being able to do complex problems, like try to do a complex problem under stress, you won't be able to. Try and write your name in the neatest cursive you can, you won't be able to. You see people go to put keys in the door and they're dropping keys and fumbling because that little fine motor skills are out the window. So I've got to know that I can't be trying to think, even if you're amazing at it, of a berimbolo or a move that's got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 moving parts in it. I need to be gross motor, I can do it under stress and make it work. Okay, so we're going to start, we'll go up onto our feet now. I'm going to work into some basic things off this. Like I said, if I know that the adrenal stress response and how it works, I need to know what I can do working with it. So, I'll break this hand. The first thing we're going to talk about is, if I have situational awareness to start with, I should recognize a potential threat. I've gone from yellow to orange, maybe he's approaching me, maybe I've tried to avoid it, whether it be at a bar or wherever else, or crossing the street, and someone's starting to become a threat towards me. They're starting to get in range. If he's no threat to me at a distance, he has to be within a certain range of me to have any effect. Now, why I think situational awareness is so important in this sense of range is, everyone teaches self-defenses. This, all these moves, like how do you get out of the headlock, how do you get out of this, how do you get out of the bear hug. If I understand this, put me in anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. Like, I'm changing the game. You're not going to walk up and grab me and put hands on me. You're not going to get within an arm's length of me to be able to do that. But that only comes from me being aware to start with. You almost want to think like an arm's length of a protective bubble. So anyone inside of my range, I want to bring up my hands, what we call a fence. So if I don't know you, male or female, and this is a custom built sort of thing, say the length from your elbow to your fingertip, roughly that. If you don't know someone, there is no reason why someone you don't know should be inside of this space. Think about it. Do you know anyone? If you don't know some random stranger, do you want them closer than that to you? You don't want someone this close if you don't know them. It's just not normal. So my hands want to just sort of come up. I'm pretty relaxed. I'm not like stiff in a combative stance. My hands are going to come up into like a basic fence. They're open, clearly, because I want to show that I'm no threat. I'm not looking combative. I'm not trying to antagonize. So I want to have what we call a fence. Old English bouncer Jeff Thompson's famous for this sort of stuff. Have any of you ever heard of that guy, Jeff Thompson? He's knocked hundreds of people out from here, but they're more in street fighting, whatever else. It's a big thing in security. We teach all our guys to talk through a fence. What's in our hands are here. It's easy for me to be able to talk. Also, if he wanted to sucker punch me, for example, if he started to punch, action beats reaction, yeah? Because he started first. If he was going to punch me from there, he started first. He's got, I don't know, 40, 50 centimeters to cover. At a minimum, I've got about a meter to cover to try and protect my head. He's starting first, he has the advantage. He's got a shorter distance to close, he has the advantage. I've got more distance to cover. So, versus if my hands are up here when I'm speaking, well, one, he's not going to punch through my hands. Most people aren't going to, if Shane has his hands up here, I'm not going to try and hit through his hands to his chin. By bringing my hands kind of up on the center line, I'm already starting to go, okay, he's got to cover a meter to hit me in the face, I've got to cover 20 centimeters to cover my head. So I'm better prepared to be able to block. He's got to cover more distance, I've got to cover a shorter distance. My hands are closer. I'm already starting to make him start, instead of punch straight, he has to punch kind of around. So I'm starting to make him arc and move around it. And in all languages, it just means stop. I don't care what I'm saying, if there's a communication barrier, like you can see, all witnesses know that I'm not trying to fight, I'm trying to talk to them like, oh, calm down, I'm not looking for any trouble, but you can do that. It's called being a good human. I don't just see him go, oh, I'm a Black Knight Jiu Jitsu, fuck him. No, don't get in fights, don't do it at all. You don't want to be involved. I don't get in fights, you know. My hands are up here. I have that fence. You also, I liken it to an electric fence. So in the sense that if Shane comes towards me, it's like, if he touches my fence, I'm going to back up. But he gets one free shot, that's it. Like he gets one free, kind of like nobody, if my hands are here, if I have my hands here, he shouldn't be walking through this. This is normal. Normal people, if someone's hand's here and on me, I'm not going to just keep doing this. Yeah. It's clearly an act of aggression on my part. It's not me talking shit anymore, like I'm swearing, saying I'm tough, I'm peacocking and doing all that sort of stuff. If I'm clearly trying to move through that, he's broken that barrier of, hey, I'm just trying to talk to you and trying to threaten and intimidate you. I'm becoming physical. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. Like I said, if I have my hands here and he maybe just brushes my fence, fine, I might be like, oh. But if he's going to go again, I'm not going to give him that shot. Because it's an electric fence there, I'm going to respond. It's not going to be a positive thing for him. So we're going to start with we'll spend a minute or two, we'll grab a partner, just get used to talking to someone here. I jokingly say to our security teams when we're teaching this, you talk Italian, talk through your hands. Don't make it stiff and rigid, just spend a minute just getting used to talking to people. You can trash talk each other if you want, say whatever you want to each other and have just one person talking through here and have them move into your hands a little bit and you just maintain that distance. Then we'll fly through everything and move into self-defense stuff. Okay? Sorry, self-protection, self-preservation, so I don't like self-defense as wording. Alrighty? Okay, let's do it.